Hello there and welcome to the Circuit de Catalunya at the end of day 3 of the second Formula 1 pre-season test. We had a full day's running today and it was an eventful day 2. It stayed dry, but it was very cold, and that proved a problem for these, the 2013 Pirelli tyres. Although in terms of outright pace, Fernando Alonso didn't seem to have too many problems with them. His best time of the day was the second fastest time of the week. The other headline was Adrian Suto's return to the cockpit of a Formula 1 car from the first time since the 2011 Brazilian Grand Prix. He'd finish a creditable 8th fastest in the standings, just behind Jenson Button, who had serious problems with graining. Lotus boss Eric Boullier reckons the team would be on the podium if the Spanish Grand Prix were to take place tomorrow. Romain Grosjean completed a full 66-lap race simulation. And Alonso apart, Nico Hülkenberg also impressed in the Sauber. Jenson, obviously it wasn't an entirely positive day, but I mean, if you were to pick out some positives, what would they be?
Positives? No, there are lots. Just trying to pick out the best one. There's so many. Yeah.
So what are you going to try and, I mean, obviously tomorrow might be a problem. Are you going to have to condense different programs into the final week?
It's going to be wet tomorrow, so yeah, it's tricky. And for me, I don't feel I've had enough laps in the car, and I think that's the same for Checo as well. We're doing a lot of work to really understand the car in terms of the aerodynamics. You know, you're doing a lot of brake work in the mornings, and it always takes a little bit longer than you expect, and you lose a lot of time doing that. But it's important for us, if it helps us throughout the year, to understand this car and direction. It is very important, but it does limit your testing, and I really I'm looking forward to a good test next week in Barcelona, because I don't feel that we've been able to do enough to really understand the car and where we are with the car. It's also made difficult by the degradation with the tyres. You know, you have to throw a lot of new tyres at it, and we don't have that many, so it's difficult to do setup work and comparisons. But I think we have a good base. You know, I think if we can extract the best out of the car, I think it is a good car, but it's just at the moment I don't think we're doing that.
I mean, Sergio talked about extreme conditions with the tyres. Is it going to be a bit of luck at the start of the season, maybe like it has been perhaps at the start of last year, or are they fair, are they manageable, can you understand them?
I think they're easy to understand, they just grain immediately basically, so it's tricky. The circuit is cold today, so it's going to be worse today, but you know, going to Melbourne, I feel that we will have graining, but it's not going to be anything like we have here. The thing is with graining is graining, and it's the same for most of us. Whereas with the tyres last year, it being such a narrow window of working range, that it made it very difficult for a lot of teams to really understand the tyres and get the cars working on those tyres. So it is different this year. It's just something that we all need to manage, and hopefully when we get to the first race it won't be such a big issue.
Just finally, have you had a look at some of the arrivals? Only a third of pre-season to go. Who do you sense has maybe, apart from yourselves, got a little edge?
Well, everyone keeps overtaking me, so everyone seems fast at the moment.
Nico, how positive was your day today?
I'm pleased. It's a good start at the moment. You know, the car feels good, and short run, long run, everything is looking okay. Yeah, definitely progress from last year. For sure, we're going to be closer to the top guys. That's important. You know, it's going in the right direction. So the team has done a really good job over the winter, and it really looks like it's been all their hard work and effort has been definitely worthwhile. And it's you know, and it's a pleasure to drive also at the moment, you know, because the balance is quite good. So there's a lot of positives. Of course, reliability we still need to improve, having a few issues, but nothing major. And then what's also looking good is our development rate at the moment. You know, it's quite a decent rate, and that was our weakness last year. You know, that's what we really have to improve, and that's going the right direction too. So there's all these factors which going well at the moment, but not quite there yet.
What's your take on the tyres? I mean, a lot of people saying major issues with them. Is it down to the temperature?
Temperature is very difficult here at the moment, yeah, because the tires are so sensitive, you know. And then in the morning, when the track is 4 or 5 degrees colder, you just have a lot of graining. Graining means that the rubber starts to ripple, and when the rubber ripples, you just have no grip, and the pieces start flying off the tires, you know, rubber everywhere, and so that is very difficult to test then in those conditions. And then lunch break, and the track becomes 4 degrees warmer in the afternoon, sun comes out a little bit, and all of a sudden completely different story. You know, it's so so sensitive out there. So a lot of the time it's just very difficult to learn anything, and you just have to make the most of those few windows that you have when the sun just pops out. You know?
I'll just ask you finally, do you think you'll get proper credit for your achievements this year? I mean, do you think you got the credit you deserved for beating Michael over the last 3 years?
I don't know, that's not really too much of my concern. I just want to win races, really, and I'm confident that I can do that very soon, and also this year again.
Adrian, if I could ask you, do you think your chances are better than 50-50?
It depends. Some say 60-40, some opposite. I don't know. So I just take that day as a chance to show that I'm still quick and see what comes out next week. Hopefully there's a decision.
Will it solely be down to driver talent? I mean, what will decide this, or could it be other factors?
For sure. I mean, if you think about it, it has to be something else. Otherwise, they would have confirmed the driver in January, just plenty of time before the first test. Now that is not optimum for the preparation for Melbourne. So, but I think VJ is behind it and tries to make the decision as quick as possible. For sure, some business behind there. I don't really know. But for me, the most important was to deliver a good performance here. So I've done my part, and everything else, let's see what comes out.
Just finally, have the team asked for special guarantees? I know you say you can attend every race. I mean, what guarantees have they asked you in terms of visas, that kind of thing, that you can?
But that's all good. So I tried to get everything done already, just in case. Also last year I informed myself for traveling. That's not a problem. So. It's all sorted, so it's really about their decision. About I think today they've seen I'm able to drive the car still, so maybe next week we have a decision and then we go from there.
To sum up, what would it make you feel to get back? How would you feel to get back in the cockpit properly again?
It would be a nice feeling. Of course, I'm now 30 and I got still a few more years to race these cars. So I want to do that, of course. If that doesn't work, there's always something else to do in life. There are several opportunities. I haven't checked out what's my plan B at the moment. I want to have this cockpit, and I tried everything for it. But there are many other categories, and I have a look after.
If the Spanish Grand Prix was held here tomorrow or on Saturday, where would Lotus come, do you think?
On the podium.
Okay, so it's the same as where we left off last year.
I just replied your question today. You know, I mean, Barcelona Grand Prix is in May, so track temperature will be different, and everything can change until then. You know, but now today, just based on today, what we can see on the lap time and the race simulation, it was not bad.
Okay, so how would you sum up testing up to where we are approaching the end of the second test? Things have gone okay. Kimi's had a bit of reliability issues.
Yeah, we actually try to bring, obviously, always, you know, better, improve and increase and update and whatever, you know, and sometimes it doesn't work. So we had, especially on the data issue, we had to come back on, let's say, the backup plan, and now it's working fine. So, but unfortunately, yes, Kimi suffered two issues which stopped him running. But we could see today the car was fully reliable, so we could make more than actually the expected plan.
Okay, and just finally, just a slightly technical question. We saw you testing the device, the rear wing stalling device. We've seen it on some other cars. It's just been set on the car now and again, just for small runs. Do you think you might debut it in the season, race debut in the season?
I don't know, actually. We seriously, we are testing it. So it looks like, yes, we brought some improvements. Now we need to definitely test it on I think the next Barcelona test to make sure we validate it to run it or not.
Last lap of our day 3 roundup with a man who's completed a race distance today, Romain Grosjean. Would you have done that tomorrow? Were you worried about the rain? Is that why you did the race simulation today?
Yeah, I think it's looking like it's gonna rain tomorrow, so we had to do a lot of mileage anyway. It was our program, so we didn't change it much. I think we have some good answers, things we wanted to test, and that's a good point for a third day in Barcelona.
Eric Boulier has just come out here and he said if the race were tomorrow, if the Spanish Grand Prix were tomorrow, you'd be on the podium. So who'd be sharing the podium with you?
Well, I don't know. It's always difficult to say. I think Red Bull is looking strong as usually. Then it's, big teams. Regulation hasn't changed much, so there is no reason why McLaren should be nowhere or Ferrari. So it's getting tighter and tighter, which is exciting, and you have to try to really get the best of everything you can.
Are the tyres fair in a sense, Roman? They're extreme, but are they understandable? Can you work them out?
They are very hard to work, because you have basically one lap, sometimes even less, to get everything you need to do. So it's tight. The race distance, it's a challenge. Every corner is a challenge, but well, we have to deal with it, and everybody's the same. So.
Just finally, we make a big fuss about pre-season testing and about coming out with the best car at the start of the season, but how long does that performance advantage last for these days? Is it maybe just 1 or 2 races?
Well, it's always hard to say. I think first races, everybody's more or less keeping the same development, but then the more budget you have, more development you can get, and through the end of the season it makes a bigger difference, I think.
So plenty of drivers still in upbeat mood despite troubles with the tyres on day 3. Work will go on here, of course, through the night heading into day 4, and the teams will hope for some dry running. But whether it's rain or shine here, we'll be back with the best of the reaction from the final day of this second test right here on Sky Sports F1 HD. And don't forget, there'll be live updates throughout the day over on Sky Sports News as well. But for the moment, from the circuit to Catalunya, it's good night.